Morning, Bob Timkey with Go Solar LED. Well, first of all, itty bitty kitty bitty is itty bitty. We call her Bitty, and we have a new pet Lumen at home who's about almost a 6 or 7 month old kitty now, who just had a vet visit and she's recovering very well at home right now. With her, she was spayed and declawed. We made Bob Barker happy, and now we're taking care of her home. So I want to talk a little bit today about Go Solar LED. What makes our company very different than any other solar installer in this area and throughout New York State is that we specialize in very efficient LED upgrades. We spend a lot of our time, especially over the winter months, installing efficient LED lighting upgrades in businesses. Often we come into a room like this that has either incandescent or fluorescent light bulbs, and we'll upgrade them to much nicer quality and much more efficient LED lights, which can make the lighting in the space much better, much brighter. But most importantly, I feel, is that it'll drastically reduce that company's energy need for their lighting, usually cutting their bill in half and sometimes much, much better. There's utility rebates that offset usually about 1/3 of that investment, and then the company will see the new, better lighting pay for itself in the first year or two. And the LED lights are going to last much, much longer than the old fluorescents were replacing them, so now they have lower maintenance costs, and they'll save usually tens of thousands of dollars over the course of the next 5, 7, 10 years that those lights will be in place. We take that same technology into homes, and what differentiates us from any other solar provider is that I work very closely with some larger builders in the area, some of which don't have outside salespeople that can go and visit with homeowners for solar, so they'll utilize us to go in and do those evaluations for them. What we find is that in many cases, if you meet with a salesperson from a solar company, they're going to come in and try to sell you, would you expect the smallest solar system they can recommend or the biggest solar system they can recommend from a salesperson perspective? Which would you assume?
Biggest.
Probably the biggest one. They're going to look at a picture of your home and try to fill every square inch of that roof space with solar panels. The very important thing to understand is that we have certain challenges here in Western New York. When I started in the solar business, I was in San Diego about 15 years ago, and the landscape here and the amount of sunshine we get is very, very different. So about 10 years or so later, the technology has gotten to the point where it's efficient enough and the costs have come down to where it's affordable enough to install solar here in Western New York and have it make a lot of good sense for homeowners and save them a lot of money over time. Often people will come and they'll say to me, hey, I have a 2,400 square foot home, how much would it cost for solar on that home? And what I always tell them is that it has less to do with the size of your home, and it has a lot more to do with how many daughters you have living in the home using power. You can imagine if you had an older couple living in a home using very little power versus a family of with 4 kids maybe, or 6 people in the home running power all the time with curling irons and hair dryers on all the time. They're going to use a lot more power, so there's going to be a much different need. I want to give you some real life examples. So some of the different types of solar that can be installed in homes will include a rooftop array, like you see a photo here. This is a home we did in Amherst with all black panels. Ground mounts where it makes sense. If you're in an area, usually in rural areas out in the country where you have a really big yard and plenty of space out back, we can put a ground mount array in. There's a lot of advantages to doing that because we don't have to work around obstructions on the roof. Like for example here, there's a chimney. In this case, it's not in the way of the solar panels. It doesn't cause any shadowing, but if that chimney were in a different corner of the house, it would cause shadowing. We have to work around obstructions like that on roofs that cause shade and other issues. With a ground mount array, if you have a lot of open space, you don't have to worry about that. We put it wherever it's convenient for that landowner and point it directly south, right at the sun. Another way to achieve that is with a pole mount array, where rather than the array sitting right on the ground, it's actually on a pole. The benefits here are that it can be raised up higher if you have, if you plan to use that space, for just for your enjoyment. It's going to lift the solar array up out of the way, and also throughout the course of the year it can be tilted and adjusted to optimize the benefit of the solar power throughout the course of the year. So there's a few different types. Most homes in this area are going to opt toward the rooftop array. All we need to give a free evaluation, and I'm going to show you a real life example of a home that we're working on right now, is to get a copy of your electric bill. So when people come up and ask me that question, how much would it cost on my house? And I always, make a joke about their daughters. Then I let them know in order to find out exactly how much your investment would be to have solar on your home, most importantly, how quickly that's going to pay for itself with free power, and for us to quantify how much the government's going to pay for that system on your home, just simply email me a copy of your recent electric bill. Every electric bill is going to have, I know it's small here, but it has your 12-month history, it has your utility rate and a few other pieces of information that I need. It has your address, obviously, and then right from my desktop in about 20 minutes, I can do a very, very accurate estimate of how much solar you need to produce all the energy that your family's going to need, and then have a conversation over the phone with that customer, and then I'll set up a site visit to go and look at any specific things I might not have been able to see just by using Google imaging. I'll get into the LED lighting a little bit more if we have time, but I wanted to take today to show you a real life example. So this is a proposal that a customer gave me permission to show. Interestingly, he's a master electrician. He's licensed in the city of Buffalo, and I was introduced to him by a program that we ran with Fry Electric, an electrical construction builder. And I'm going to come back to this page here in a second. But I want to show you, this is the proposal that he would see. So one of the first things we can show him is exactly how much solar we can fit on his home. Now, one thing you'll notice is that I'm going in and recommending, back to the solar salesperson thing, I've met with a number of these people over time, and typically they'll come in with 2 or 3 proposals in their briefcase, and after talking with you about budget and things like that, they'll pull out whichever one they think they can sell you. I'm going to come in with one strong recommendation, and first of all, we're typically not going to try to produce 100% of the power that you need for last year. We're going to look at ways we can reduce your energy need in that home. First, with some inexpensive upgrades, maybe a few $100s worth of lighting can reduce your energy need by 20–25%. And then at that point, we're going to size a solar system to produce all of the energy you're going to need moving forward. And a few $100s in lighting, for example, or a more efficient insulation in the home, or a more efficient furnace or air conditioner, sometimes those small investments up front are going to make the home more comfortable immediately, and they're going to save you thousands and thousands of dollars on that solar system that another guy would just try to sell you to make his quota. So in this example, we designed a system that would have 2 arrays on the south-facing roof, and in this case, the east-facing roof of the home. It's going to offset 75% of the power that they've needed in the past 12 months, and we're estimating that's going to end up producing about 105% of what they're going to need moving forward based on the efficiency upgrades that we'll make in this home. So now going back to the actual numbers, this is, I know these are small, feel free to jot some of these down, I'll give you some ballpark numbers. That solar system I just showed you will be a $23,000 solar system installed on the house. There's a few different incentives that then kick in. NYSERDA will pay the installer an immediate rebate of $3,200, so we'll call it about $3,000. It gets discounted off the price of the array, so now we're down to $20,000. And then there's federal and state tax credits that homeowner can go easily claim just by handing the paid invoice to their accountant. And federal is going to pay 30% of the cost of the solar system, which in this case is $6,000. And New York State will pay an additional 25% of the cost of the system, which in this case is $5,000. So you start with 23, we discount 3 off because of the incentive we receive from NYSERDA, and then in this case another $11,000 comes off the cost of that. So it's about a $9,000 investment for the homeowner to buy a $23,000 solar system. Most importantly, we're then going to go ahead and show them exactly how much money they'll save. This system will save them on their $9,000 investment $57,000 over the life of the system. The system is warranted for 25 years. We see them producing for well over 30 years here in this area. And that simply means that this one, as they're making typically payments, we'll go get them financing. And this part's critical. We're just going to set the payments up so that the payment that they're making on their solar system from the day we turn it on is producing power is going to be less than what they used to pay on their electric bill. So they're saving some money from day one. Sometimes it's $25, $30 a month that they're saving. For those first few years while they're paying up the solar system, this one breaks even in the 6th year. About 5.5 years, their system is paid for. They drastically reduce their energy bill. There will always be a connection fee for your home, so they might still pay a $15 bill instead of a $115 bill. And then they continue to save for all of the time that that system is on over time. One important thing to keep in mind, by show of hands, who thinks that the cost of energy is going to go down over the next, say, 10, 20, 30 years from buying it from the power company. It's most likely, who thinks it may go up over the next few years? So you're really safe-proofing yourself from inflation and the rising cost of energy by going solar now, and also a lot of benefit to the environment because you're producing clean, green power. So a great referral for us are, again, any businesses that can benefit from an LED lighting upgrade and save tens of thousands of dollars and have brighter, better light. And any homeowner or business that's looking to produce clean, green energy and save a lot of money with solar, we're more than happy to provide a free evaluation like you've seen here. Just refer them to me. Please take my card, give it to them. And if anyone is interested in getting a lot of questions answered, ask them to please just email me a recent copy of their bill. No pressure. In about 20 minutes, I can produce something like this from my desktop and give them a very accurate estimate of how much money they can save over time. Thanks for your time.